Let's go back. I want to talk next a little bit about alopecia areata, which is the autoimmune type of hair loss. Now, anybody with hair loss should have a comprehensive workup measuring your nutrients because, you know, the old adage is, there's an old saying, everybody is entitled to more than one problem. Like you might have an autoimmune hair loss, but you also might have a vitamin deficiency that's interfering with how your hair is capable of regrowing. It's just smart to measure all of that so that you don't like embark upon this diet change, but then you happen to be deficient in key nutrients and you're not getting them, and so your hair's not growing back, and then you get frustrated and then you quit the diet change. Sometimes you got to make multiple changes in diet and lifestyle. But alopecia areata is an autoimmune process. Now I want to share this little testimonial with you. This is one of our viewers wrote in. He said, she said, this is from Diane. I cannot tune in tonight, but I want to say one thing. I've had alopecia areata, again, this is autoimmune hair loss, since I was 35 years of age. This is 40 years ago because she's 75 now. And I've had patches of hair missing at least 25 times. I've been gluten-free for about 8 years. So again, you know, wish you would have discovered this a long time ago, but gluten-free for 8 years now and have not had any incidents of alopecia areata for the past 5.5 years. There was one time 6 years ago that I did, but it was during a period when I also had a lot of stress. Remember what we were talking about earlier with stress being a trigger, can be a trigger. So in her case, it was moving, she broke an arm, and she lost a precious pet and had lightning strike her house. That's a really bad course of bad luck all the way around. Anyway, so that could have brought it on. Not could have, it probably did bring it on, Diane. But am I not losing hair now because I'm not eating gluten? Yes, that is correct. I don't know, but not having this type of autoimmune hair loss now is definitely enough to keep me gluten-free. So again, this is just their story about going gluten-free. Again, hair loss, the vast majority of their entire life, 8 years on a gluten-free diet, no more hair loss. Now I see this all the time, and it's really a tragedy and it's a travesty, because if you have alopecia areata, right? This is the autoimmune condition where your body is attacking your hair follicles, destroying them and creating a baldness. What is the treatment for alopecia areata? Any guesses? But we'll come back to that, because what I want to show you too is another case study. And I've seen 100 or so of these cases over the past 20 years of the impact of gluten on hair growth. So this is a particular case. This is a woman that came to see me. Oh, it's been a number of years now, but in this particular case, on her initial visit, what you're looking at here is what alopecia areata looks like. If you'll notice, the area where there's hair loss, there's zero hair growth in this section. It's smooth. If you were to touch it, it would feel like baby skin. It's so soft and smooth. This is complete loss of hair growth in that area because of an autoimmune attack on the hair follicle itself. Now, on her initial visit, we worked her up. She's gluten sensitive, right? She had gluten sensitive gene pattern. She was what we would call homozygous on the beta-1 gene. And so that was one of the big things that we found, but it wasn't the only thing that we found. She was also deficient in selenium and I believe zinc, B vitamins. So there were several different things going on in her pattern. So, we found all this out initially, and what do we do, right? We got her supplemented properly, the right doses, very important. Because most people do this type of stuff and they don't take the right amount. And so kind of what they're doing, it's like peeing on a forest fire. They're not effective. In her case, the diet change was very important. And so you can see, as we move 5 months into the future, look at the regrowth coming back. So you can see a lot of what was patchy is now starting to come back in. Okay, coming back in. And then fast forward 5 more months, and you can see now no hair loss. It's completely normal, thick head of hair. This woman had a beautiful head of hair by the time we were done. This is just one area on the scalp, on the head, that I'm showing you in this picture. So again, hair loss progressing to hair loss recovering. And a big part of this is gluten. Now, I probably in my own personal archive of cases have more, and I haven't published them yet. When I retire one of these days, when I quit preparing for shows for you guys, I'll probably spend some time publishing all the case studies that I have on gluten-induced hair loss and alopecia areata. But currently today in the medical literature, there are only about 2 case reports of alopecia areata completely recovering going on a gluten-free diet. I've got probably close to 100 just in my private practice over the last 21 years. So I know firsthand there is a serious connection. We also know, remember, the triggers of autoimmune disease. What are they? This is autoimmune disease. It's not different than any others. What are the triggers? There's 4 of them. Food can be a trigger. Chemical exposures can be a trigger. Nutritional deficiency can be a trigger. And microbial imbalance can be a trigger. And this particular woman had 2 of those categories. She had food as a category and she had nutritional deficiency as a category. Both those things were contributing to and triggering her illness. And so by changing her diet and by getting some good solid nutrition, she was able to overcome that.